Hi there, it's me, Annalisa Boyd, Orthodox Christian wife, mom to 8, and the author of The Ascetic Lives of Mothers, Hear Me, and Special Agents of Christ, all through Ancient Faith Publishing. And I am going to talk today about something more serious. So it is about abortion. It also includes foster care and adoption and those things. So first I want to start out by saying, for Christians, the issue of abortion is not a current event. Yes, we're currently talking about it, but the church has had made the decision long ago what its stance is on abortion. It's made itself known. It's made known its stance on many things that people consider to be modern issues, but they are not modern issues. These are issues that have been around for a long time, and the church has always believed that abortion is wrong, always. And so for Christians, it should be a non-issue. This isn't, I'm going to have to contemplate this and see what my conscience says. And it's really, for Christians, it should be a non-issue because it was decided a long time ago. So there you go. There's that. And yes, I am horrified by the things that are coming up. Not surprised, but horrified that these things are happening to the precious little humans inside mama's wombs. And it saddens me that it has taken this that seems to be horrifying more people than the idea of these baby parts being just thrown in the trash, without ceremony, just as tissue that needs to be disposed of. So I'm glad that there is more awareness, but it's been a bad thing for a long time. Anyway, so moving right along, I have a hard time with a number of things I'm going to talk about have to do with us as Christians. I'm not going to talk about the women who are going and getting abortions, because many women get abortions for a variety of reasons. Of course, the media wants you to believe that it's really for cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother, but we know that 90% of abortions that take place in this country are not due to rape, incest, or the health of the mother. They are birth control, or I hesitate to say convenience, because there's a lot of trauma that goes on often with mamas after they've had an abortion, but it is, there's fear or inconvenience. It's not the right time for them to have a child or something like that. So, but we don't know the hearts of the women who are going in and having abortions performed on them, and we should not act as if we do know the hearts of the people that we see. Only God knows the heart. Okay, so, but for Christians, I have seen people praying. They're my children. People praying in front of abortion clinics, which is a wonderful thing. And I've seen other people praying and holding signs. They're being very peaceful, but the signs that they're holding up are awful. And even coming from as a Christian, I look at those and I understand what they're trying to convey, that abortion is destroying a human life. And this is the reality of it. But what usually happens is women immediately put up a wall, and they're not going to listen to anything you have to say when you're using that approach, because you're not speaking to their heart. Okay. I have known very few people who have participated in March for Life or have prayed in front of abortion clinics who have actually stepped beyond that space and put their time and money where their beliefs are. I've only known one person who's actually adopted a child from a woman who was going to go in and get an abortion. They ended up talking, and the mom really did not want to raise his child, And they said, okay, we will adopt your child. And they did. And she's she's a young woman now, but so it was a wonderful thing that they've really put themselves, they gave their resources and their time and their energy and everything to raise this child. They already had 5 others, so but they really put their money where their mouth is, and very few people are willing to do that. A lot of people are willing to shake their head and make a judgment on somebody, but and even loud motorcycle, and even shout from the rooftops how awful this is, but very few people are actually willing to get in there and get their hands dirty. So somebody asked, well, what can we do? What are things that we can do? Well, not everybody should adopt or do foster care. I've said that in the past, but we all are called to help the widows and the orphans. We're all called to help people in need. And so if we can encourage young women who find themselves pregnant unexpectedly and are in a difficult situation, we can try to be a light to them and encourage them. We can offer to drive them to doctor's appointments or things that they might not be able to get themselves to on their own for one reason or another. We can offer to try to help them plug into resources that would help them find jobs if they don't have one, or childcare if that's what the big concern is, or counseling, things that can help them transition and really get their mind around, I'm going to be a mom, and what that means and how they can be successful. So we can encourage moms there and be one of those resources. Maybe not financially, because not everybody has money to do something like that, but usually physically we can participate in something like that. Another thing is becoming a foster parent or an adoptive parent. I know in the county where we first became foster parents, the woman who went out and did the recruiting of foster parents, she said she went to a lot of different churches and the response was super, super low. And she said if one family from each church, an average of one family from each church, became a foster parent, a foster family, they would not have to look any further than the church to provide care for these children who were coming into care. But they didn't get that kind of response. There are all sorts of reasons and excuses. Kind of reminds me of the Good Samaritan, where the priest walked on the other side, and all these people who it seemed like they would be the ones who would stop and help the man who was in such need, but they all went to the other side, and the one who shouldn't have stopped was the one who stopped and helped. And so she ended up going to this very liberal rally. I hope I don't get in trouble. Don't yell at me for saying liberal. I'm not implying anything. But to this rally of a large group of non-Christians who were very willing to step in and get involved and become foster parents and adopt children who needed to be adopted and things like that. And she did not see that from the church at all. And that's really discouraging. We had a great example of our priest and his wife in Santa Cruz, who they had been foster parents for over 30 years. And so we got to see it in action, which was really neat. Another thing is adoption. There are a lot of people who seem to be wanting to adopt overseas, but there are lots and lots of children stateside who need homes, especially older kids. You may be at the place, and don't think I haven't thought about this myself. Our 3 biological daughters are 21, 19, and 18, and 2 of those are out of the house already. And yes, I've thought before, what if we had stopped and just had those 3? I'd be almost done. But as our priest said, that the Bible doesn't talk anything about us retiring. We are always in the service of Christ. And so if you're at that age and stage, still ask the Lord if this is something that he wants you to do. Yes, the idea of being able to maybe lead a more peaceful life, or, you know, go do some of the things that you haven't been able to do because you had kids in your home. You know, those aren't bad things. Those aren't bad things. But keep asking and seeking and see if the Lord has other things for you to be doing that are contributing to his kingdom. Okay. But if you can't do those things, and not everybody can or should, there are still other things you can do. You can, if you know how to crochet or knit, make hats for or blankets for your local child protective services. So kids, or buy teddy bears, even at the dollar store, something, things that you can donate to the county for kids who are coming into care. A lot of times they leave and they have nothing. Or if you see a really good sale somewhere, buy something for your child and something that can be donated to some sort of resource center or crisis pregnancy center or something like that. A lot of crisis pregnancy centers put together a little collection for new moms when they have their babies, because a lot of times they have nothing. They don't have resources. They have no idea what they're doing. So those are ways. Other ways, even when we think that we can't participate or contribute financially, we usually can, even if it is setting a jar on the counter and putting loose change in it. And it may take time to even fill that up. But usually, because of where we live, we usually have more resources than we think we do. Even when we're living paycheck to paycheck, we still usually, like the change, or getting a baby bottle and from the dollar store and filling that up with change. And when it fills up, giving that to the pregnancy resource place in your area. Because especially if you have kids, that gives them an opportunity to participate as well and see that, we hear the story about the widow's mites. She had nothing. She had those 2 pennies to rub together, and those she gave to Christ. And so, however we can give of our time, our money, those are good things to do. In addition, or if you really don't have those 2 cents even to rub together, everyone can pray. We can all pray. We can pray for the widows and the orphans and struggling mamas and just those who are in need. And those are ways that you can participate. There is always a way to participate. Okay, so I may talk about some other stuff next time. That might be a little controversial as well, but oh well, I'm me, and not that I don't care, but we're called to be Christians, whether it's easy or hard. And I think there are ways for us to do that, and being being Christ in the lives of others. So anyway, if you like seeing these videos, please press like and subscribe, and let's keep working at our salvation one mommy moment at a time. Thanks.